Oh my goodness. So I was just sat on a call and I caught sight of my cheque from last month and I realised I haven't written one for this month yet. So I thought I would do a live and you can write them with me. So for those of you that don't know me yet, I'm Eloise. I'm the Money Alchemist. And if you want to know anything more about what I'm doing, I really recommend joining my 5-day Magnify Money Challenge. And I will pop the link in the comments once I get off of this live. So magical manifestation checks are super, super powerful. I used them in the first year I was doing this work to triple my income, and it's getting to the point where it's tripling again. So mind blown. When I started, I was barely making what I was making in my salary when I went self-employed. And, you know, now the numbers that I do on a monthly basis, when I first started this, I couldn't even have imagined that I could write checks and get them paid every single month. Now, when I say every single month, there are times when they don't get paid. Very rarely now. It is a practice and you have to warm it up sometimes. But what I've noticed is even when they don't get paid, the payments I get are never anywhere near what I was when I started off. They're much higher, much higher. It's like they've helped me create a new normal when it comes to my income level, which is amazing. Lita says she just wrote hers yesterday. Amazing. Now, there's a few things that you need to understand when it comes to checks. Checks are very powerful. I learned about them from the lady who wrote The Secret, Rhonda Byrne. Now, she teaches to write big checks for one-off payments, and I've developed this because I'm not particularly good at focusing on a big check for a big amount of time and a big amount of money. So what I've found is this monthly process works beautifully. And you have to come at it from a feeling of abundance, okay? And you have to come at it from a feeling of not discomfort. So when you write your check, your number has to be big enough that makes you go, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but not big enough that your mind just switches off from it. Even now, if I wrote a check for £1 million, my brain's checked out already. So it's a process. Does that mean you can't manifest £1 million in a month? No, it doesn't. But lovelies, we are working with what we're working with, and that includes a lifetime of blocks, beliefs, stories, patterns when it comes to money. And we're working with our subconscious, which will sabotage us because it believes that things aren't safe for us. It believes that money isn't safe for us. So we have to gently warm it up. Now, if I sound a little bit lispy, it's because I've got a new aligner. So it feels a bit big in my mouth at the moment, but it will settle down. Hopefully you can't notice it, but I can. Now, wrote a check on the 1st, just feel a bit nervous this month. No idea why, just do. I will stay positive. So yeah, it can be really, like, honestly, getting the practice of writing these checks can be really challenging. It can be really, really challenging. And even if one gets paid, you might feel nervous next month, like that was a fluke. Lita says, I noticed when writing checks, the secret is that you don't know when you will get it and you can get discouraged. Absolutely. Whereas this one, you're writing a check for next month, the end of this month. So the figure is important. It should make you like, oh, not sure how I'm going to do that, but not freak out. And if you think, yeah, that's easy, I did that last month, that's not the right number either. It's about the right amount of tension. When you've been doing this for a little while, you will start to feel that tension. You'll be like, oh, that number's too low or that number's too high. You will get used to it. But if you can't think of a number or you can't feel a number, just add 10%. Okay, now what are we adding 10% to? I write checks for all of the money that comes into this household. Okay, because my brain needs everything to be simple because my brain is chaotic. So I keep it simple. It's all of my income from my business, from my pension, from my investments, from all these things. and also Mark's income. Like that to me is keep it simple. Okay. So it's really important to understand how much you're already getting. So many people don't know how much they're already getting. I had a client that was writing checks for £3,000. She did it for 3 months and she said to me, what am I doing wrong, Eloise? And I said, okay, let's start at the beginning. How much have you got coming in? And she's like, oh, she went and checked and she came back and she was like, yeah, I've got more than £3,000 coming in. And at this point, the universe must have been like, I'm not sure what she's actually asking for here because I'm already sending her that money. So make sure you know. And this is, this goes back to the Money Magic Foundations. Pay attention to money. Look for money. The first two. Like, pay attention to money. I know it's hard, but if you look at your bank account, it will make you feel more empowered. Okay? And then you'll know what you've got. You might even be surprised. Okay, look in all of your bank accounts, look at all of the income, because often what we do is we say that income doesn't count. Hey Hannah, nice to see you. We often say that income doesn't count. So I get a small pension from the Navy. I've had that pension since I was 22. That payment has come in since I was 22 because I was medically discharged. So I have been in payment of I was a pensioner at 24. But I used to not count that because I didn't earn it. In my head, it didn't count because I didn't go out to work and earn it. So I want you to make sure that you are money is money, right? Just because you think you didn't earn it, you don't have to earn money. Money comes in all amazing ways, okay? Sometimes you might write a check and you think, how's that going to happen? And then someone gives you a gift of like £500 or something like that. And it's amazing when that happens. Hannah said, I wrote a cheque to be paid on the 31st of October, though it hasn't been paid yet. So, Hannah, this can happen, and I know you've been working on this for a while. So, what I would recommend doing is starting a new cheque. Destroy that cheque with love because it gave you focus. It takes practice, and occasionally you have blips, okay? This is just a sign that you've got something to work for. I always say these cheques always get paid. They get paid monetarily, or they get paid in the fact they're showing you what's stopping you getting more, okay? So what I would do, 31st of October has gone, I would close that cheque, destroy it, let it go, get it outside, send it away with love, reflect on what it's indicating for you, what block is it showing you, and then write a new one. Because the 31st of October is gone, right? We want to start manifesting again. Even if you write the same amount of money for the same reason, get a new check going, get the energy going around it again. This is an energetic piece, okay? So, write in the check. On the first of the month, normally, what I tend to do is write a check. And I write the date for the check to be paid to be the last day of the month. So, 30th of November, 2022. Now I just actually need to show you what they look like. This is the checkbook that you can get on Amazon. It's amazing. I'll pop the link in the comments for you. The checks are beautiful, and in a bit I'm going to show you something that you will all love, because I know many of you are like notebook fans and things like perforations are important to you. They are to me. So where it says payee, you write your name because you want the universe to pay you, right? So I'm just going to write that. And then I want you to pick your number. I want you to pick your number and then feel into it, because it is not about the figure, it is about the feeling, okay? So how will you feel when this check gets paid? What desire is it going to create for you? And it might be something like, I can make an overpayment on my mortgage and that will make me feel more secure, okay, and happy and proud. It might be that I can top up my savings. It might be that I can get out of my overdraft, or at least pay some of my overdraft off. But how would that feel? Think about, how do those things feel, okay? So you write your number. I'm just going to pick a number. I'm going to say £5,000. This is not going to be my check. Let me just write this down. Now, for those of you that have never written a cheque before, just write £5,000 in words. For those of you that have written a cheque before, what I don't want you to do is draw a line after it, okay? What we write after is or more. So just as an example, £5,000, we're on the mirror, there we go, or more, yeah? Top tip for law of attraction, whenever you're trying to manifest something, leave it open by saying or more, okay? It comes from this or something better. It's just a great way to add. For the first year, I didn't add or more, and I literally got almost to the penny my cheques paid when they got paid. And when I added or more, the first time I added or more, the cheque got paid in double, which is amazing. Hi Amanda, nice to see you, lovely. Hannah says, I think this is the third one I've written and they haven't been paid. Lots to learn. Yes, so we know there's definitely some blocks going on there. I think, Hannah, let's have a chat offline about that. We can talk about that for sure. So then in the currency box, on these cheques, I've left them with no currency because I know some of you are in America, some of you are in Australia, some of you are in the UK, some of you are in Europe. So you can write your currency. Mine's GB pound, so I put it here. And after your number, whatever it is, put a plus sign to indicate the or more bit. Yeah? Then I want you to, where it says desire for manifestation, I want you to write that feeling. So let's just say feeling proud for paying off my overdraft or some of my overdraft. Just as an example for you. Yeah. Then you rip it out of the book, which is gorgeous. It's the best perforations I've ever seen on a checkbook. Okay. And what you do is you keep it. You don't have to manifest with it all the time. The way I teach manifestation is, let's make it easy, let's make it fun, let's make it happen in our subconscious rather than our conscious, because when you're trying to manifest something in your conscious mind, it's like you're whacking yourself on the head with it all the time. You have to let these things warm up, okay? So what I do is I put it on my desk, so it's literally here. Obviously I will write a different cheque, and I pop it here, and I'm not directly looking at it, but I'm seeing it every single day. You could pop it on your fridge, you could pop it in your planner, somewhere you're going to see it at least a few times a day, okay? Then, at the end of the month, in fact, the first day of the next month, because often I get a bit disheartened that my cheque hasn't been paid on the last day of the month, but actually overnight money comes in. On the last day of the month, so Hannah, you might want to just listen to this bit as well. I want you to go and look everywhere for money. Go back to the Money Magic foundations. Look for it. Pay attention to it. Make space. Speak kindly and show gratitude. Applying those foundations will help you to see more money. Honestly, if you're in my free group watching this, you'll see people literally go, I did the Money Magic foundations and I found £86, or my cheque didn't get paid, but then Eloise said to go on a treasure hunt and I found another £140, and that meant it got paid and some. Do you know what I mean? So really go and look for it. If it isn't there, just sit with it for a while. What is this showing you? Do you have a fear? Okay. What would happen if this worked? What would that mean? Often we have a fear of success, and I think that was my big problem when I first started. First 3 cheques I wrote crashed and burned, okay? So you're in good company, lovely. But what I did notice was that my income was increasing with each one. So that's definitely a pattern to look out for. Is your income increasing? Also, like, is there a block that you haven't yet identified? And the answer is always yes. Okay. Yes, there's a block. We have blocks that, you know, they're not things that are wrong with you. They're not things that need fixing. But if you clear them, you open the gateway to more money. So you can choose to keep those block stories and beliefs. You can choose to, you can choose to hold on to them, and that's okay. Like, some of us are really scared to let go of that. I was scared to be the person that could earn £3,000 or £4,000 in a month. That really scared me, because that kind of went against my entire life. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to come to releasing those block stories and beliefs, and that's okay too. Like, we're not always ready at the same time. Yeah. So if your check still hasn't been paid, what I want you to do is to thank it. Thank it for whatever it is it's showing you, even if you can't yet see it. Okay, maybe it's that your income increased. Maybe that you generated income from a different place this month. Maybe it's a block story, belief, or pattern that you haven't quite identified yet, but you're still working through. Okay, and send it away with love. I like to burn mine. I now have a collection of lovely little cauldrons, and I would rip it up and burn it. You don't have to burn it, and I recommend not burning it in your house unless you have a fireproof cauldron like I do, or 5. You can burn it outside, you can shred it, you can rip it up, you can bury it, you can put it in your bin. But here's the thing, you must, whatever you do, put the remnants of your cheque outside of your house. You don't want that energy in here, because it's like, oh, that didn't work. We want to clear that out and start again. Most important thing to do when your cheque doesn't get paid, write your next one. This is a practice. This is something that it can take time to get good at. And I know it can be really disheartening when there's people that write a cheque and bang, it gets paid first time. They're just different types of manifestors. Like, these cheques work. They work. One way or another, they work. And it can just take a little bit of time to warm up and understand them. Okay, and when you look back, you're like, oh, that's why that didn't work the first time, or the second time, or the third time. So do not give up. Most important thing when your cheque doesn't get paid is to write the next one. Okay? Now, when it does get paid, of course, we do our money happy dance, which changes every month. And what I like to do is write on the back lots of love hearts and gratitude. Now, some people like to release these as well, burn them and release their energy to start a new one. I like to keep my cheques because I still get months, rare now, but I still get months where they don't get paid. And I'm like, well, all those months that got paid were just a fluke. Yeah. Like, the majority of months, it was a fluke. That's my archetype ruler. That's how she thinks. So when that happens, I remind my ruler that we have a drawer full of cheques that did get paid. Okay. And that there's a block or a story or a pattern or a belief or something that's stopping that money coming to me, and I need to work on that, or I need to go and look for it. Okay. So when they get paid, I write so much gratitude all over it, and I like to keep them. But, whatever you want to do is absolutely fine. Becky says, I've just written my first cheque, but I've used the one in my journal. Is it better to use the one from the chequebook? No, either's fine. Just make sure you look at the one in the journal every day. Yeah? Because these are in the journal as well. You might also want to cut it out. That's another thing you could do if you wanted to. But if you're using your journal every day, just flick to the page. Just look at it and then move on. You don't need to focus on it. You just need to see it. Okay? So that's magical manifestation cheques. And so the cheques are available in the planner, which is on Amazon. I'll pop the links for that. The cheques work really nicely in the planner because they're like, it's a reminder every single month. And also the planner reminds you, I've got a copy of it here actually. Let me just grab it. The planner reminds you to do the Money Magic Foundations. There's like a little checklist, little checkbox where you can check to say how many you've done each day. And that reminds you, if you haven't done any today, you need to do some tomorrow. So the cheques, let me find the cheque page. It's here somewhere. It's such a chunky planner, isn't it? It's brilliant. So the cheques are here for every month for you. So it's one for every month. Or you can get a book of just cheques from Amazon, and I'll pop the links. And there's 50 cheques in here, so that will keep you going for a few years, which I absolutely love. And I'll pop the links down in the chat for you. Something that will help you with releasing block stories and beliefs that might be showing up in your cheque writing is my 5-day free Magnify Money Challenge. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Like, this is just going to be money love, money energy, money amazing. You're going to feel good doing this challenge, okay? And it's going to teach you different ways that you might not have seen yet, because some of it I don't teach out in the open. So get involved. It's fearlesslyfeminine.me/challenge, okay? And that will get you onto the challenge list. We start on the 14th of November when people will be accepted into the group. Up until that date, you'll just be waiting. So don't worry, you haven't got left behind. And I've also set it up so that you will just get lots and lots of reminders to do the work, because I know what it's like. You join a challenge and you want to do the work, but you keep forgetting. And then when you get an email, you think, oh, I must go and do that. But then you forget. So there's going to be lots of reminders throughout the challenge. But that is to make sure that you show up and do the work, because that is the way this work works, okay? It's not just about signing up for a challenge or buying a checkbook or joining a circle, my Money Alchemy circle or the Academy. You do have to create some consistency. And that can be really, really hard in our lives, can't I? So the challenge is designed to kickstart your consistency, to show you how easy it can be and how little you need to do to actually make a difference to your wonderful relationship with money. So I'll pop the links in the comments for all of those wonderful things. And if you've got any questions, drop me a message, drop me a comment, and I shall respond. So have a wonderful... Oh, actually, just before we go, I'm going to pull a card for us all for the weekend. These are my Essence and Energy of Money cards. I know you all love these cards. And literally everyone who gets them are just so overwhelmed by how magical they are. And one of our amazing lovelies in the group, oh, that one jumped out fast. One of the amazing lovelies in the group actually did a beautiful video review, and I'll be sharing that probably sometime next week with you. It was so exciting watching her opening her cards for the first time. It was gorgeous. So the card that I have, I love this one. This one always feels really solid to me. There is hidden treasure everywhere. And I think this is really timely actually for the cheques. So, like, where could money be hiding that you haven't yet seen? Yeah, go and have a look. Look everywhere. There is literally money everywhere when you focus on there being money everywhere. So have a wonderful weekend, and I shall see you soon.